All right, I took a little bit of time off from doing the videos, but it's time to get back on track, and I'll do so with a Q&A. This will be Q&A video number 19. Now, all these questions come from Hesham, the first one being, what is my opinion on extending the arms at the bottom of an overhead dumbbell press in an attempt to increase the demand on the side delt? My opinion, total fucking waste of time. The reason being, when you do an overhead dumbbell press, what muscle most directly opposes the resistance? It's the front delt. The delts do not cross over the elbow joint. So bending and extending the elbow is not going to change what muscle most directly opposes the resistance. It's for that reason that doing this for that purpose, in my opinion, is a total fucking waste of time. If you want to increase the demand on the side delt, pick a better tool for the job. The next question is it important to train the rotator cuff? The answer is, it depends on what your goals are and if whether or not training it is preventing you from accomplishing those goals. The follow-up to that, are face pulls good for the rotator cuff? Now they can be. They can also be used ineffectively. Remember, an exercise is nothing more than a tool used to load a specific muscle or specific group of muscles. Can the face pull be used to load those muscles effectively? Yes, it can. The next question has to do with the overhead press. The bar pass, should it be straight up and down or up and back? As it relates to up and back, what is that good for anyways? And once again, it comes down to your goal. Why are you doing what you do? I will say this though, if I wanted to keep the muscles under constant tension, I'd probably just go up and down. If I wanted to give them an opportunity to disengage so that I could facilitate more weight to be used or more reps to be performed possibly, then maybe I'd go up and back and I'd lock out. You could do both on the same set. Maybe you're doing constant tension. When the muscles can't handle anymore, give them an opportunity to disengage. When you're ready to go, pick up from where you left off and extend the set that way. So it really depends on why you're doing what you do. As it relates to going up and back, what is that good for? Optimal shoulder mechanics. Full shoulder flexion of 180 degrees is 2 parts flexion of the humerus, 1 part rotation of the scapula. The humerus can only flex to 120 degrees. The scapula needs to rotate to facilitate the extra 60 degrees to be achieved. So maybe you want to include something into your strategy that accounts for that. Maybe you don't. Depends on your goal. Could it be a good thing? Possibly. Could also be a bad thing though if you had bad posture. If you have a kyphotic spine, you might be trying to force your body to do something that it's not designed to do in its current state, and you could promote injury. So it really depends on a lot of different things. The next question is, do I believe in back width and back thickness exercises? Now, I personally do not like those classifications because you could take a row, which is generally considered a thickness exercise. You can modify the way you do it to increase the demand on the lats, which are generally associated with width. So because you can use a thickness exercise to promote width is why I don't like those classifications, but I understand where they came from and why they exist. Bodybuilders want to compartmentalize everything they do. They compartmentalize their training to say they're training such specific divisions of muscles, like upper inner pec or lower inner lat. And in the theme of compartmentalizing everything, they've compartmentalized the tools they use to train those very specific divisions of muscles. So they've created width exercises and thickness exercises. But I don't like those classifications because you can modify the way you're doing what you do to promote various responses. The next question has to do with chin-ups and pull-ups. Chin-ups work the upper lat, pull-ups work the lower lat. Well, it actually doesn't really work like that. You can overrule these things if you had the capacity to do so through your intention. Where these classifications came from likely is that the lat is an internal rotator. When you do a chin-up, you're locked into external rotation. Therefore, the lat mechanically cannot get into its shortest position. When we talk about lower lat, we're talking about the lat being engaged in its shortest position. So mechanically, it cannot go there, but you can overrule that through your intention if you had the capacity to do so. As it relates to a pull-up, if you look at the orientation of the lat, the lower fibers are in most direct opposition of the resistance when performing adduction. So an overhand grip facilitates that because you can go wider. Therefore, the classification has been created that pull-ups work the lower lat. But once again, you can overrule that through your intention if you had the capacity to do so. So it's not so simple to say chin-ups work the upper lat, pull-ups work the lower lat. All that means is that mechanically the body's in a position to direct stress to different areas, but you can overrule it through your intention if you have the capacity to do so. The next question is, can I give you an effective traps giant set? The answer is no. You got to pick the tools for the job that you are doing based on the ones you feel the most and the ones you like the most. If I were to give you an effective traps giant set or one that was effective for me, it might not be effective for you. You might not like it or you might not feel it. When you understand why you're doing what you do, you have the free will to choose whatever you want to do that. There's no magic in the exercise. Because I say to do something doesn't make it magical. The whole purpose of doing a giant set likely is to impose a demand on the muscles through metabolic stress. When you understand why you're doing it, You have the free will to pick whatever tools you want, and you should pick them based on the ones you feel the most and the ones that you like the most. The next question has to do with the bench press. Barbell versus dumbbell. Once again, it comes down to your goal. Why are you doing what you do? What do you feel more? What do you like more? Those are the ones you should pick because those are the ones you're going to work the hardest at. Now, there are some key differences. With a barbell, you could try to bring your hands together. They're not going to go together. You could try to push them apart. They're not going to slide apart. What you're doing there is you're increasing the demand on certain muscles responsible for those intentions. To bring the hands together, increase the demand on the pec. Push it apart, increase the demand on the muscles on the opposite sides of the joints that are moving. So in this case, the rear delt, the rotator cuff, the triceps. Why would you want to do that? It's going to create a more stable platform to press off of, and stability is a prerequisite to force production. So depending on why you're doing what you do should determine how you do it. As it relates to dumbbells, potentially greater range of motion, each side working independently, and each side having to provide its own stability. So you got to pick the right tool for the job based on the job that you are doing. Now the last comment was, we'd like to see you training. Now, I've always been opposed to that because actually trying to record myself while working out just kills my fucking training. But in an attempt to provide as much value as possible, I will try to do this. I've created an Instagram account. I don't even think you need Instagram to see it. It's an open account. Anybody can look. And the way I think it's going to work, I'm approaching this with the same mindset that I had when I started with YouTube just over a year ago, and that I don't know what I'm going to do, just that I'm going to do it. But my preliminary vision is that if I talk about a method or a technique in one of the videos and people need a visual to understand how to practically apply it, that's what Instagram is going to be for. So YouTube will feed Instagram and Instagram will feed YouTube. The name on Instagram, Impose a Demand, all one word. So the account is up. There's nothing there yet, but I expect it will develop and evolve over time just naturally. Now, one more thing before I end the video here. Now, all these questions came from the same person, but I'm open to answering questions from anybody. If you have a question, though, I have one request from you. You ever seen that movie, Jerry Maguire, where he's like, help me help you? What I need from you is specificity. The more information and the more details you give me, the better answer I can give you. If you ask me some of the questions like these ones here, in terms of what's better or what should I do, the answer is always going to be, it depends, because it depends on your goal, your reason, your purpose for why you're doing what you do. If you don't tell me that, I can't give you the answer that you're likely looking for. So if you're going to ask a question, please be as specific as possible with why you're asking the question so I can give you the best answer possible. You like the information, share it, click the fucking button at the bottom of the screen you're looking at, subscribe to the channel, support me. I'm going to keep on bringing it.